April 18th. A broad central US trough is driving widespread convection from the southern plains into the Midwest, with embedded IFR and routing impacts centered on Dallas-Fort Worth, Kansas City, and Chicago corridors today. The operational takeaway is a convectively active spine through the middle of the country with downstream sealing and wind impacts into the east, while the west remains comparatively stable but with localized terrain and marine influences. Starting out west, a weak ridge along the Pacific coast is maintaining largely VFR conditions from Southern California through the Bay Area, though the marine layer continues to produce morning stratus and localized IFR at coastal terminals like San Francisco and Los Angeles, with gradual burn-off inland. Further north into the Pacific Northwest, onshore flow and a passing disturbance are keeping ceilings lower, with light precipitation and mountain obscuration affecting Seattle and Portland arrivals. Moving into the Rockies, the trough axis is promoting gusty west winds and mountain wave activity from Utah through Colorado, with areas of light snow at higher elevations and occasional turbulence and lee-side wind shear impacting Denver approaches. Across the southern Rockies into New Mexico and Arizona, conditions remain mostly VFR, but with increasing mid-level clouds and localized gusty winds as energy ejects eastward. Into the plains, this is the primary impact zone today, where a sharpening dry line and strong upper support are generating scattered to numerous thunderstorms from North Texas through Oklahoma and into Kansas and Missouri. Expect embedded heavy rain, frequent lightning, and brief severe potential with hail and strong outflow winds, producing reroutes and ground stops likely around Dallas-Fort Worth and expanding north toward Kansas City. The Midwest sits downstream under broad lift and moisture transport, with Chicago and surrounding hubs dealing with periods of showers, embedded convection, and lowering ceilings into MVFR and IFR at times, along with gusty surface winds shifting with passing boundaries. Into the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes, this translates into a mix of stratiform rain and isolated thunder with widespread cloud cover, reducing arrival rates into Cleveland and Indianapolis. The Northeast remains on the eastern side of this system with a moist southerly flow, leading to widespread low ceilings, patchy fog, and intermittent rain from Washington, D.C. through New York and Boston, with IFR to low MVFR likely during much of the day, and modest improvement only where breaks develop. Finally, across the southeast, a warm and humid air mass is in place ahead of the front, with scattered convection developing from the Gulf Coast into the Carolinas and Florida Peninsula. Expect mainly VFR outside of storms, but brief heavy downpours, lightning, and gusty winds will create localized impacts around Atlanta, Charlotte, and the Florida terminals, especially during peak heating. That's the National Aviation weather picture for today. If this briefing helps your flight planning, consider subscribing for the daily operational outlook. Have the best flight, and we'll see you tomorrow.